Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sacktown Sports 1140. It's time for game night, getting you ready for Sacramento Kings basketball.
He's got the bucket!
Game night is presented by Power Business Technology, your locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Contact them at 844-POWER-BZ or visit them at powercopiers.com. Here's your host, Scott Marsh, alongside the high flyer, Henry Turner.
And a very pleasant good evening to you. Welcome into game night right here, Sacktown Sports 1140. Scott Marsh along with the high flyer, Henry Turner. If you're outside, hopefully you're driving slow, you're driving safe. We've got you covered for the next hour as we get you ready for Kings Live pregame. Jason Ross will be here with the high flyer for that 7:30 tip tonight in LA at the Intuit Dome. And the G-Man will have the call for that. Kings and Clippers tonight. Sacramento coming in with the 8-7 record. The Clips are 9-7. Both teams have had injuries. The Kings appear to be a little bit healthier. We'll get into that. The Clips seem to be a little less healthy. Lots to talk about, Henry, tonight. And you look dry. I'm glad to see that.
That's because I've been in here for a while.
That's true. You have. You've been here.
When I first walked through the door, believe me, I was wet.
It's been brutal outside.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely brutal. When they said atmospheric river, they weren't kidding.
I mean, it's raining outside. It's coming down.
It is pretty ugly. Speaking of ugly, that game Monday night against the Hawks, it feels like 3 months ago. It was really just on Monday, but that was pretty ugly.
It hurt.
It did hurt. It did hurt.
You know, I honestly felt like we could have got that game.
Yep.
That was a game that was there for the taking. You know, it's just another one, unfortunately, but it's just another one that you throw in the category of, we got to flush that one down, but it's going to add up.
Every game does. And again, when you take on, Eastern Conference opponents that are under 500, and certainly they were, they do add up, no doubt. Now, I mean, the Kings, obviously, they were without their big three or part of their big three, not their biggest three because De'Aaron played, of course, but no Sabonis and no DeRozan, and we know no Malik Monk. But at the end of the day, that's no excuse.
But, Scott, that's what makes this game so hard to swallow is because you guys had that game and you didn't have three of your big four.
Yeah.
You had the game. You could have won that game. Even with those three out, you could have still brought that one home.
No doubt. Any explanation for that 15-point fourth quarter?
I honestly thought the Kings ran out of gas. I thought they ran out of gas. Another thing is, too, the offense got stagnant after a while.
Yeah.
Any NBA team is not going to let one guy just continue to beat you. You're going to try to get the ball out of his hands and let somebody else do something. And when the others don't step up, now you're putting yourself in a bad situation. That's a recipe for destruction.
No doubt. Obviously, Keon Ellis stepped up in a big-time way, career-high 33. Yes. He was the guy that they needed off the bench, the spark plug, and he definitely had his best game as a King.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, when he starts seeing the ball go through the rim, I've always said that I wish Keon would be a little bit more aggressive. I've always said that, he plays, content.
Mm-hmm.
He plays safe. He plays the safe ball. I honestly think that, he's a guy that can really, be aggressive and help De'Aaron out with scoring, especially when, our other three is out. He needs to be able to put that ball in the basket.
No doubt. And he did 9 3-pointers. It was fun to watch.
It was.
He just, it felt like every time he put it up, he was going to make it.
And after that third one dropped, Scott, you saw the confidence in Keon start rising and rising. After that third one dropped, the fourth one, you remember he called it step back, went between the legs behind the back and did shot.
Oh, yeah, he was feeling it.
I was like, there it is. He ready.
No doubt. He had a couple heat checks. There's no doubt. He also had 6 rebounds. I mean, he's always going to give it to you on the defensive end. He was certainly a big plus. On the other side of it, Herter went 1 for 10 from distance in that game. 1 of 10.
Tough. And I ride Herter a lot because, I want the guy to be able to take the shot. So he got 10 attempts up. So I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
And even if he goes 1 for 10, I'm like, okay, it just wasn't your night. I'm fine with Kevin Huerter missing shots because you're going to find your way. Now, I'd have been upset if he'd have went 1 for 4.
Okay.
He shot the ball 10 times, so he was giving himself a chance to start making shots. They just didn't fall. I was fine with that.
And that's a fair point. Shooters need to shoot.
Right.
As long as they're good shots, then you got to take them. And that's what Mike Brown's been preaching all season long. All right, let's get into this. You and I really haven't talked about this very much. Keegan Murray, tell me what's going on here. Obviously, offensively, the production's down. 7 points on Monday night, just 9 shots, 3 of 9. Everybody talks about how much better the defense is, what he's bringing, rebounding, all-around game, all that stuff. And I'm not saying that's not true because I understand that it is, and he's in his 3rd year and the growth and all of that. To me, I don't see as much improvement in Keegan's game right now. I'm more concerned about what he's not doing. I mean, that's just me personally. Like, I'm tired of hearing people say, like, Keegan's improving. He's doing this, he's doing that. Like, but what is he not doing right now?
And you know what, Scott? That's the problem that you have when you come out and you're one-dimensional and you're successful at it.
Yeah.
Keegan Murray came into this league as a catch-and-shoot guy and was very successful at catching and shooting. So now the reason why people are saying Keegan Murray is getting better, Keegan Murray wasn't a defensive juggernaut that first year.
No.
He was just a piece of the puzzle. The second year is when they started asking Keegan to guard some of the best players, and it still wasn't all.
Yeah.
This year, Keegan Murray don't get a night off on the defensive side.
True.
He is guarding the best player, whether at point guard or center. Keegan Murray is getting the call.
Right. And he's getting the call because maybe how unbalanced the Kings' overall roster is.
Well,
is that fair?
Maybe so, but he's getting the call because he's the best option we have on the defensive side.
True.
So you have to say his game has gotten better. Now, as far as on the rebounding side, he's our second leading rebounder. The dude's in double digit area. So his game has gotten better. He's just not shooting the ball the way everybody thought that he was supposed to shoot it back when he was a rookie, when he first came into the league.
If you want to get in on this conversation, you can. 339-1140. We're up and running in our YouTube chat as well. You can comment there and you can text us at 339-1140 as well if you want to. All of that is true, but then I look at it and, again,
but Scott, we
turnovers.
We force too much on this offensive side. Okay, think about it. If Keegan Murray isn't putting in the defensive type effort that this team needs, we probably wouldn't have the wins we have now.
Okay.
If Keegan Murray wasn't rebounding the basketball at the rate that he is right now, we probably would have less wins.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. He's doing his part. He just isn't doing what people think he should be doing on the offensive side.
Okay, that's fair. A lot of talk. Obviously, he bulked up a little bit in the offseason. Does that have anything to do with the shot? We saw De'Aaron Fox a couple of years ago bulk up. He's bulked back down because it didn't really work for him.
And I think the reason why it didn't work for De'Aaron, because De'Aaron's game is predicated on explosiveness and speed.
Sure. Different positions, no question.
Explosiveness and speed.
Yeah.
Keegan Murray is a shooter. And and I honestly think, Scott, his shooting will come back. Mm-hmm. I think that has a lot to do with his confidence. And it just isn't Keegan Murray's confidence, all right? Kevin Huerter's confidence is not where it needs to be. Trey Lyles' confidence is not where it needs to be. Same thing with Keon Ellis. Yes, Keon had a hell of a game last game, but before that, his confidence on the offensive end isn't where it's supposed to be. The only guy that comes off that bench that got confidence is Malik Monk. His confidence is through the roof.
That's true. And unfortunately, he's not available. He's not going to play again tonight for the Kings. And that always makes it tough. I mean, Keon obviously filled in great for him on Monday night, but you can't expect that kind of production from anybody else but Malik Monk off that bench.
No, but I'll tell you what, though, Scooter, you can definitely expect him and should put on him, you need to be a little bit more aggressive. I'm not saying that you get those type of shots every night. Those are, once in the season type situations that happen to you. But I don't want to see Keon Ellis play 20 minutes and shoot 2 for 4.
Right. No, he's got to be more aggressive than that.
Right.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep. Totally agree with you on that. All right. Kings lose a tough one at home. They had the 3 days off. We'll get into that because, they played 15 games in a 26-day stretch. They finally get a little time off. They took Tuesday off. They got after it on Wednesday and Thursday before flying to LA. We'll talk about that stretch. We'll get into the Clippers as well. And of course, we'll go around the league as we always do, get you caught up on all the news and notes. It's game night. It's brought to you by the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Sacramento. Again, if you want to become a volunteer mentor to a kid who could use one in our community, that's what Big Brothers and Big Sisters is all about. They're looking for mentors who help serve children ages 7 through 18 being raised by single parents, grandparents, or foster parents in Sacramento. If you can donate your time or money, time is of the key importance, but if you want to donate some money as well, that can certainly help the cause. Please do so. It's a great organization, Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Sacramento. Go to bbbs-sac.org to learn all about becoming a volunteer mentor. More of Game Night right here, Sacktown Sports 1140.
All right. We are live on YouTube.
What do we got going on, Kyle?
Let's keep going with the Keegan Murray conversation you guys were having. I saw this stat that was going around while doing the morning shows this week, is that Keegan's 3-point shooting has been way down, obviously, but he's taking one fewer attempt per game than he was last year. I think last year he was at like 6.5, and this year he's at 5.5. But he's also one of the best players in the NBA inside the paint. I think he's shooting like 85% inside the paint right now, which is, it caught me off guard.
The Kings have been great inside the paint this year.
Oh, for sure. I mean, they've been one of the best.
Yeah.
I don't actually know the numbers right now, but they were at one point the best 2-point shooting team in the league. Which I've made the argument for the Kings as a whole offensively. As long as you're doing something great on offense, you have a chance to be a great offense as a whole. So as long as they have an elite mid-range game and they're getting to the rim, you can still have an elite offense.
Well, the interesting thing is, in prior years, we would gripe about the Kings not being good in the paint, not being a good mid-range team, and not being a good free throw shooting team. And High Flyer, now they're all of the above, and we're upset they're not a good 3-point shooting team. And of course, the problem is the league continues to emphasize more and more shots outside, the line. And, I'm not saying the Kings are a throwback team. That would be a bit of an overstatement, but it's almost like the adjustments the Kings have made are kind of going against the grain of where the NBA is going.
My thing has always been this, yes, the NBA has definitely bought and sold all the real estate outside of the 3-point line.
Yep.
My thing is, as a basketball team, you still have to play within your strengths. Okay?
Yep.
Now, the Kings aren't shooting the basketball particularly well from 3. We would love for them to shoot better from 3, but I don't care how you score the basketball. We have to score.
Yep.
And last time I checked, 2s count also, and that free throw line. That free throw line is probably one of the main reasons why the Kings have a record the way they have it, because they've been utilizing that free throw line very effectively.
Effectively, yeah. I feel like they should be getting to the free throw line more, given Sabonis, given DeRozan, and how great he is at getting to the free throw line. I actually feel like those numbers would be higher at this point, but they're hitting them at a way higher clip than last year.
But what I'm saying is that, what are we, top 2, 3?
Yeah, they were, top 3 in the league.
In the league in free throw shooting and attempts?
Yep.
So that's, that's a crazy rise from what they did last year. So if the 3 ball isn't falling, still win the game.
Yep. And as Mike Brown says, let it fly.
Yes. I mean, what I'm saying, but if it isn't falling, get the 2s, because you're scoring 2s at a very high level.
Yep. Welcome back into Game Night right here, Sacktown Sports 1140. Scott Marshall on with the High Flyer, Henry Turner. Game Night is always being brought to you by Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Check out their full line of luxury vehicles at mbofstockton.com. Some great conversation in our YouTube during the break, kind of dissecting the 2-point game versus the 3-point game for the Kings. They're obviously a much better free throw shooting team this year. They've been great in the paint. They haven't been good beyond the arc, but they are getting better. I mean, if you look at the numbers, they were dead last. They've moved up to 23rd in the league now. They're shooting at a 34% clip. They were 30% over the first 11 games, but they're near 44% over the past 4. So maybe it's just a return to the average. And as Mike Brown said, he didn't buy into the numbers early on. And maybe the Kings are going to get back to being a good 3-point shooting team.
Scott, we just talked about it. And I honestly look at it like this. I would love for this team to be able to say that they're a great 3-point shooting squad and they're shooting the ball at almost a 50% clip from 3. But that isn't the scenario, right? No. We're not shooting the ball that well, but we're doing great things inside that arc. So right now the percentages say, okay, if you're going to be successful, you might want to start shooting more 2s to win games. Now, I know probably shooting those 3s, you might win 20, 25 games shooting 3s, and it's going to look very, very good when you're knocking down 3-pointers. But I'll tell you what, if you're shooting the basketball the way the Kings are from two-point land, you're going to win 50 games.
Yeah.
It might not be pretty, but you're going to win 50 games because you're shooting the ball from inside the arc at over 75%, almost 80%.
That's hard to beat. That's hard to beat for sure. All right, the Kings have had 3 days off since Monday's game, their first real rest of the season. As we said, they played their first 15 games in 26 days. Maybe it's a good chance as a little bit of a barometer. Kings are 8-7 right now. What do you make of the record through 15 games?
Being in the West, I'm fine with it. I would say if they didn't have the injuries, maybe 2 games better.
Okay.
Maybe 2 games better. I think they've done very, very well. Like I said, they haven't really played the way that they want to play. Okay. Because the Kings really want to be a 3-point shooting team. That's what they want to be. They want to be an up and down, fast tempo type team. That's what they want to be. They still really haven't scratched the surface on either one of those 2, right? But they still been able to win basketball games. So that's what I'm saying. If everything falls right and what they've been doing, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with the record. Because if Malik doesn't go down, I still think we got one more win. Yeah. If DeRozan and Sabonis didn't go down, I think we still have another win with them. So I would give them a 2-game better record than I would right now.
Okay. 10-5 would put them in 4th place, tied for the Lakers right now. What's amazing not amazing, but what again always continues just the floor is how good the Western Conference is right now.
Right. 11
of the 15 teams have winning records. The Spurs are even at 8-8, and the Blazers are 6-9, and they've been very competitive. By far, the biggest disappointment so far has been the Pelicans, who have been just decimated by injuries this year, but they have certainly gotten off to a horrible start at 4-12. One thing that does kind of bother me a little bit, and it's unfair because we haven't seen Devin Carter at all, but you watch the Lakers. And I mean, they've gotten off to a good start at 10-5. They've been terrific.
That's
at home.
A great start.
It is. It really is. They're 7-1 at home. You watch their rookie Dalton Connect, who has been fabulous for them.
Yes.
Outside shooting the ball.
And he's knocking it down.
Boy, Kings had a chance to get him. And it's unfair because we haven't seen Devin Carter. He won't be back till January. But boy, has he been a great piece for the Lakers.
And Scott, we know the draft is a crapshoot. We know the draft is a crapshoot, and some people get lucky and get it, okay? Golden State got lucky and got Steph and Clay. Believe me, it was other teams in front of them that if they can go back and redo it right now, would pick those guys.
We know of some.
Exactly. So, right now, Connect is just shooting the ball well.
Yeah, he fits in. He looks the part.
Hey, LeBron and AD both are on one.
Yeah.
So when you have both of those guys playing the way they play, and then some of the others kick in, you're going to be able to win some basketball games. I've always said the Lakers are going to go as far as LeBron can take them, and as far as LeBron is engaged.
Yep. As long as AD and LeBron are healthy, they're going to be a factor. There's
right.
No doubt about that.
And if you can keep AD out of street clothes, you're going to be good.
That's true too.
I'll tell you who shocked me though.
Who's that?
Houston.
Houston's off to a great start. Yeah, they are rolling.
How about
right
the Rockets?
Now. The Rockets are rolling. They're absolutely rolling in the West right now.
And I give 90% of that, 85% of that to Ime Udoka.
Yeah, he's a good coach.
the dude, you can say what you want about it. We know he had his little stint or whatever went on up in Boston. Okay. That's over with. It's dead now. But at the end of the day, I honestly think that he gets the best out of what he has. And if he has young guys, they buy into what he's selling.
No doubt. They're 11-5 right now. They're 7-2 at home. They've had a lot of home games. They're 4-3 on the road. They've won 8 of their last 10. They're balling right now. And it's a good mixture of youth and veteran. They did a nice job of kind of getting that lineup. And Sengun's got a chance to be an NBA All-Star.
And you know what? And he's been playing well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep it 100 with him. Before he got hurt, he was in the same conversation as Sabonis.
Yeah.
They was comparing him to Sabonis big time. And I'm always say this about Sabonis. Sabonis is going to go down like this with the guys that, I love watching. Whenever you're in the conversation of a Sabonis, you're in royalty.
Yes, you are. Because
he's in the conversation with Will Chamberlain. The numbers he put up, he's in the conversation with Will Chamberlain. So, when they was talking about Sengun and, he's probably, in the same realm as Sabonis, that's a hell of an accomplishment.
No question. And Sabonis's consistency is what makes him second to none.
Oh, my God. Whenever he's on the floor, you know what you got.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. All right. The Kings 3 days off, always a good thing to try and get some practice back, especially when you have players who are injured. Not that Sabonis and DeRozan necessarily need a lot of practice, but it's good to get your group being able to work on some fundamentals and have some full contact practices, something they haven't had in a month.
You get a chance to try to correct some of the wrongs you've seen out there in the past 14, 15 games. You get a chance to try to tighten up things on the defensive side. You get a chance to try to tighten up things in your rotations. You get a chance to show guys, okay, this is where we missed, this is where you should have been, this is how things need to be ran. So, practice days in the NBA are definitely golden, but they don't come too often.
They don't come too often at all. And probably just as important as anything else is the rest.
Yes, no doubt. I'm pretty sure De'Aaron Fox probably didn't practice very much when they practice.
Yeah.
He's there sitting on the sideline, and nothing's wrong with that. J-Mac, you get a lot of run today because you know what? You might be a part of what we need later on down the road. Same thing with some of the other players.
Yeah, no doubt. That is definitely very true for a Kings team that's had to play a lot of minutes. I mean, Mike Brown was playing them a lot of minutes to start, and then with the injuries, it's even been more minutes. For De'Aaron Fox, do you think he can hold out? This has been part of with De'Aaron being able to get through an entire 82-game schedule with the same juice.
Well, D Fox is banged up now.
I know.
That hand is banged up. But he still, he look at it like it's bionic. I love when he look at it all the time. But he's got little things that's ailing him. The main thing about it is that we just have to keep guys on the floor. Everybody isn't going to be 100% healthy, but if you can still be out there on the floor, and we've seen it with De'Aaron, he's able to be productive.
Yeah, he's been amazing. What did you make of that final play, by the way, on Monday night? We didn't get a chance to talk about that.
I didn't have much to say about the play. I just thought that it was real weird how the referees were like, we're not going to even take a look at it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even want to see it to even think about, okay, well, maybe we got it wrong.
It felt like there could have been some time on the clock with it out of bounds.
Was it out of bounds?
That's what the review should have been for.
What did the 2-minute report say? You first team all 2 minute. See, I don't even look at the last 2-minute report because it makes me angry, but you read those things.
That's true. I do like to irritate you with them. I did not look up, but we will look up and see what the league said on that. My guess is that they're going to say that there was nothing wrong with that call.
But let's say just for the sake of arguments, if they say that ball was out of bounds, right?
Yep.
And then you say, okay, well, they should at least looked and seen if it was some more time.
Absolutely. There would have been about a second left, I believe. All right. So Kyle did look up the 2-minute report. What did the official 2-minute report say?
So there's 2 plays at the end of the game. So 2.9 seconds, Dyson Daniels shooting foul. They say Daniels, Atlanta, makes clean contact with the ball to dislodge it from Fox, Sacramento possession. Any contact with Fox's hand on the ball is considered incidental. And then with 0.09 seconds left, on the stepped out of bounds. Daniels, Atlanta, avoid stepping out of bounds prior to releasing the pass.
Okay.
So there you go.
So we can't even argue it now.
Nope.
There's nothing to argue.
Nope. Case closed.
Right.
It's official.
Incidental contact is that favorite word.
So my thing is this. We're not going to argue what happened. My argument is they didn't even want to take a look at it to say, okay, maybe we might be wrong on a decision that was like micro inches from being out of bounds.
Well, and of course now, I mean, the officials aren't they aren't the one generating the reviews. It's got to be a coach's challenge, right?
No. The last 2 minutes they can review, but the reason why
not on out of bounds plays.
No. The reason why they couldn't review it is because they didn't say he was out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
If they would have made a call and said he was out of bounds, then they could have went and reviewed it.
Okay. Kyle's saying yes. He's agreeing with you.
Yeah,
okay.
I think they could have reviewed it if they would have made a call, but it was a no call, so it was nothing to review.
Right.
That's why they grabbed their shirt and say, all right, we see y'all. There's nothing to review. It wasn't a call.
And that's why a lot of times you see in football, they'll call a touchdown or they'll call a turnover because it kicks in an automatic review.
Right.
So, yep, it did not work out in the Kings' favor. That is for sure. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to go around the league. We'll get you caught up on all the news going on. And the story out of Philly, it just continues to get worse and worse for the Sixers.
It gets like our weather outside.
It is ugly. All right, that and a lot more. It's game night right here, Sacktown Sports 1140.
All right, we are live on YouTube, and to your point you guys were talking about. Oh, sorry.
No, I'm going to take you at face value because you seem very confident about it, but I didn't believe the officials could generate their own review in that scenario.
Yeah, in that scenario they could not. If it were
if it was a call
right,
made,
but go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm saying if it's a call made, they can go back and review it. But since it wasn't a call made, they can't go back and review anything.
And I didn't even think they could, even if they made a call.
I think I can look it up, but I think they can trigger an automatic review if they want.
I didn't really think there was any automatic reviews now, minus like charge and blocks.
See,
and like whether it's goaltending or not.
See, I thought within the last 2 minutes, they can review it.
I could be
wrong. If it's a call.
I think it's all changed now, and it has to be a coach's challenge.
Let's see. Rule number 13, Rule number 13, section 1. Let's see if we can find the answer here.
Because it definitely has been changed with the challenges.
No doubt, and that's why you always have to have a challenge late in the game, right? Because to the point, like if the referee makes the call on the court, they can't review their own call. I don't believe.
Because see, I thought when the league came out with this review, their main premises was they wanted to get it right, how long it took. They wanted to get the call right, and I thought that they had specifically talked about in situations to where it can determine the game within the last 2 minutes, they would make the call and review it to get the call right.
We're going to find out.
You might be right. I mean, it's kind of complicated. I'm trying to read through this here. Scott might be right here, but
I know for sure they can review goaltending. They can review 2s and 3s.
They can review out of bounds if there's uncertainty. So like if the refs meet together and say, we don't know, we're going to go to the replay without making a call, they can do that. But I don't know. It's
once they've made a call.
But see, the ball has to be deemed out of bounds.
Sure.
And then they'll go and look at it. But that was the main thing. The ball was never deemed out of bounds.
No, they immediately said it was Atlanta.
So yeah, they can go and review out of bounds. They can review shot clock. They can review let's see. During the last 2 minutes, officials are not they can goaltending, like you said.
Yeah, for sure goaltending, 2s and 3s, we know that.
Yeah.
Charges, blocks.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm reading a section, extend the coach's challenge rule so teams may trigger replay review of out-of-bounds violations through the entire game. So it used to be you couldn't challenge in the final 2 minutes. Now you're allowed to challenge, but I still it's going to take a long
No problem. We'll digest it for another show.
There's 15 subsections of Rule 13, Section 1A. So I'm figuring it out. It sounds like Scott might be right, but it's confused. The wording is a little confusing. I commend referees. I don't know how they memorize all this stuff.
Well, they have to go to class for it.
We've given you an assignment for a next game night.
What I think we've got it, but by the end of the replay or by the end of the next break, I can figure it out.
Fair enough. What else we got going on in the chat? Anything?
Well, you guys are going to go around the NBA here, but
We are.
Maybe we save it for the next break. I'm starting to believe in the Warriors. I thought it was a little bit of a fugazi start to the season, but this team is going 12 deep, and Gary Payton, who is part of a champion team, can't find minutes.
Hey, let me tell you, I'm watching them. I'm watching them right now, and we can talk about it later.
We will. We'll get into it. Welcome back to the game night right here, Sacktown Sports 1140. Scott Marshall on with the high flyer Henry Turner. We're taking you until 7 o'clock tonight. Kings Live pregame will be on. Jason and Henry will have that. And, of course, 7:30 tip from L.A. tonight. Kings and Clippers. Clippers a little bit banged up. We'll get into that in our Gingery Law injury report. Game night being brought to you by Power Business Technology. Experience for yourself how the Power of Family can help you with all your business copier needs. Give them a call today, 844-POWER-BZ, or go to powercopiers.com. All right, time to go around the league, and we're spending a lot of time on injuries around the league. 76ers, well, Embiid out again, swelling in that left knee.
Wow.
The Sixers, you just get the feeling that, they could be a 20-win team this year. Paul George is hurt again. They just are not able to get anything going. They're 2-12. They're in dead last place. They're behind the Wizards, the Raptors, the Bulls right now in the Eastern Conference.
I've never been a 76ers fan, but I ain't gonna lie to you, Scott. I'm starting to feel sorry for the 76ers, bro.
I hear you.
They'd have been through the Ben Simmons, right?
Yep.
James Harden, Doc Rivers.
Yeah.
It seems like everything they do down there never works. Whether you have a big three, which they legitimately had, or just some good players, which they legitimately had, good coach, which they legitimately had, don't work.
It has not worked for them. And I tell you what, this big three that they thought they would have just may never materialize.
At least not be on the floor at the same time.
No. And more than anything else, I just think Joel Embiid's one of the best players in the league. I want to see him play. This was an MVP player. I hate to see any player suffer with injury, of course. And I kind of root for Embiid because he's been through so much.
The one thing that really scares you about Embiid, Scott, is that it keeps continuously flaring up.
Yep.
He'll get healthy. He'll come back. He'll play 6, 7, 8 games. And all of a sudden they'll say his knee is swelling again. And then, he'll be out for a couple of games and then he'll come back and he'll play and his knee is swelling up again. Yeah. When you have big guys that keep having that type of situation, almost sound like a Sam Bowie type situation.
Yeah, it's a bad deal. It's a real, real bad deal. So you've got Philly in the East who just can't get it together. Injuries have certainly derailed their season so far. And then the Pelicans on the other side, same story for them. They're 4-12. And Zion Williamson, well, he's undergone multiple treatments on his left hamstring. And according to sources, he is, quote, not close to a return to action. So the Zion saga continues in the Bayou City.
How much of the hamstring issue for him is weight-based?
That's always the $1 million question, right?
Because we haven't seen him in a long time.
No.
And I know, like last year, that was a big concern about when he came back. They were like, yeah, he's medically cleared to come back, but this dude is overweight.
Yeah. And he got himself in great shape.
Got himself in great shape and played well.
He did.
But then again, got injured again.
Yeah.
Hamstring. And now, is he back overweight?
What is going on with him? He's only played in 6 of the Pelicans' 16 games this year.
And really is pretty much still the face of the franchise?
I guess you'd say so. He has to be. Now, according to people within the team, they believed he was in his best shape of his career and that the hamstring was not affected by any sort of weight issues.
Okay.
But you just talk about a guy who can't stay healthy. This is a guy who has just not been able to stay healthy.
Another big guy.
Yeah.
We know injuries are a part of the game.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, big guy injuries are totally different than little guy injuries. You know, we can just go straight to the knee situation. You know, a big guy can have, you know, torn ACL or whatever. It's going to be totally different than when a guard has one. Have you noticed guards pretty much come back off of their injuries a hell of a lot faster than predicted? Big guys usually ride that all the way out, and then sometimes they don't even come back after it's been predicted.
Yeah, it seems tougher. I would agree with you on that. You know, for the Pelicans, they obviously went out and got DeJounte Murray, fractured his hand in the season opener. They've been without C.J. McCollum, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, Jose Alvarado. I mean,
that's the whole squad, Scott.
I tell you what, it's brutal for them, and the record shows, because right now, I mean, they are second to last place, just in front of the Jazz at 4-12.
I mean, how are you expected to compete when you have that many of your main guys out?
I don't know how you can.
You know, I mean, I know Willie Green, he wants to play, you know, and he's a player. He wants to do his best, but bro, how are you expected to run the Formula One, but you only got one cylinder out of your 8? The rest of them sitting on the sideline. You can only do so much.
Yeah, you can't do it. You just can't do it. You know, speaking of who's doing it right now, the Warriors are definitely doing it. They are getting the job done. They're playing the Pelicans right now, and they're up in the fourth quarter, 92-86. The Warriors are leading the West at 11-3.
You know, I will say this about Golden State, and I noticed this early on when we played them in the preseason. Golden State Warriors, everybody on that team can shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody on that team is a scorer. That's what I first noticed right out the gate, because they shot us out the gym.
Yep.
Right out the gate. But now you know what I'm seeing from the Golden State Warriors? These guys are swarming on defense. They are on a string. The guys are pressuring the basketball. They're shooting gaps. Everybody is helping the other one. They have really gotten this team defense thing down. That's why they're able to win basketball games.
Yeah, no doubt. Draymond Green's been behaving. You know, they've gotten Andrew Wiggins back. Wiggins got 23 points tonight in just 21 minutes. Kuminga off the bench has been great. The acquisitions of Slow-Mo and Buddy Hield. I mean, this is a deep roster. You look at it 1 through 10. There's not one guy you wouldn't put out there in any given situation. And
it's not one guy that you've really pinpointed. I would have to say probably Gary Payton II might be the worst three-point shooter on that basketball team, and that's not what he's there for.
Not at all. But, I mean, if you have GP2 on the floor, you're not feeling bad about it.
That's what I'm saying, because he does so many other tangible things for you. You're not worried about if he's shooting the basketball at a high particular rate. But everybody else can shoot that thing, Scott.
Yeah, no, they definitely can. They have been impressive this year. All right, other games going on in the league. A team that has not been impressive, the Indiana Pacers. They continue to slide. They're 6-9. They're losing to the 6-9 Bucks, 77-59. I can't quite figure it out. The Bucks and Pacers have both been big-time disappointments so far.
Well, with the Bucks, you know, it all goes back to Giannis and Dame.
Yeah.
Both of those guys, you know, are they happy with their roles? Are they content? Is everything, you know, working out with them? I honestly think that, you know, Milwaukee really underestimated the value of Bud. They underestimated the value of Drew and some of the other players around it. And then Middleton, you talk about injuries. Middleton's been off the floor for a long time.
That's true. They have to get Middleton back.
Right.
Yeah. All right. You've got the Rockets blowing out the Blazers right now, 79-59, looking to get their 12th victory of the year. Let's see here. The Bulls are in action tonight, and Chicago is up on Atlanta, 86-71. Later on tonight, the Mavs and the Nuggets. No Luka Doncic. They're holding him out for a week. Wrist strain.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that's nothing too serious there. Nets, who will be here on Sunday, they did lose in Philly tonight, so Philly did pick up their third win without Embiid. Maxey went for 26 in that game. Paul George did not play either. Cam Johnson, here's a guy. He went for 37 tonight. There's been a lot of talk that the Nets could make him available. We're going to get to see him on Sunday. That's another guy who, I mean, I understand it's more than just picking up guys. You got to get salary cap, get that all right. But boy, would he be a great fit in Sacramento.
You know, it's crazy, Scott, when you talk about, you know, getting your team together, because right now the Kings don't have to go out and just get a good player. They can pick and choose and say, okay, you know, we have certain situations or certain holes we need to fill with these players that we bring on our basketball team. But you know what? It's always good if you can go out and get a guy that can knock down a 3-point shot.
No doubt. And I do think the Nets will be a team that will be looking to move pieces as we get closer to the deadline. It'll be interesting. We'll see them here on Sunday night. And that'll be a lot of fun. Of course, up next for the Kings tonight is the Clippers. And when we come back, we'll break down the matchup versus the Clippers. We'll give you the injury law injury report, that and a lot more. It's game night right here. Sacktown Sports 1140.
All right, we do have our answer for the replay review situation. Both of you were correct.
I like that. We can both be correct.
So
I like that.
Scott was right that even if Dyson had stepped out of bounds, the refs could not have initiated a challenge. The Kings would have had to challenge themselves to overturn it.
Yep.
The refs can only, in the last 2 minutes, the refs can only initiate replay review on let's see, fouls, goaltending, shot clock situations, whether it was a 2 or a 3, like foot on the line.
Yep.
But the refs are not allowed to initiate out of bounds challenges. That would have had to been Mike challenging it had they called Dyson out. But to your point, Henry, even if Mike had wanted to challenge it, there's nothing you can do because they didn't call it out of bounds in the first place.
Right. That's the bigger point, right? Because they didn't call anything. There was nothing to challenge.
So
which was frustrating.
Both ended up being right. I didn't realize that point that you said that out of bounds was not challengeable anymore. They actually switched that 2 years ago. I didn't even realize that.
And I thought too, and this is where I was wrong. I thought it was the last minute of the game, not 2 minutes on some of these things.
No, last 2.
Yeah. So I was wrong about that part.
Yeah. So last 2 minute rules. I think that's really the only thing that changed. Most of the other stuff they can still review, but it seems like the reason they changed it is there's so many stops to review out of bounds that they just said, we actually don't care if it's right. We just care that we can get the game moving a little bit faster.
And I love it because I want the pace of play to be quicker at the end. I mean, how many times did we watch the last 2 minutes take a half hour to finish? And it's not only that it's boring, but it totally takes away the rhythm of what sometimes is a great game.
Well, the thing about it is that the league shot their own selves in the foot because they introduced the replay because they was like, we have to get the call right. That was the main thing when it first came out. We don't care what happens. We got to get the call right. We got to get the call right. And then all of a sudden, like Scott said, it started slowing the game down. All the juice and electricity was leaving the building. And the league was like, wait a minute now. Hey. We got to entertain.
It's not that important.
Right. The entertainment level is a lot higher than what y'all doing right here, right now.
If you want to call a timeout and challenge it, fine, but it's not that important.
And you only going to have a couple of those.
And a lot of times when you go to the monitor, you can't see it anyways, right? So, I mean, you're spending 5 minutes to make no call on something that was already made on the court.
Yeah, which they started it last year. I didn't even realize that. And this is the second year of doing that new rule. So, yeah, we found our answer in the long run, but ultimately was all for naught anyways because they lost that game. I think that was the controversy after the Timberwolves game is like the Fox 60-point game took like 20 minutes to finish the last 2 minutes.
Exactly. It was ridiculous. I remember that game. Yep. All right.
It's all here. Starts Number one claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's L1 report.
Welcome back to the game night right here, Sacktown Sports 1140. Scott Marshall on with the High Flyer, Henry Turner. Kings on the road tonight. Quick road trip. They're back at home on Sunday to have that rare home and home back-to-back. You've got Brooklyn and OKC coming in on Monday night. It'll be fun to see the Thunder, one of the best teams in the league. Right now, it's time to get to our injury report, the game night injury report brought to you by the law firm of Gingery, Hammer, and Associates. If you've got an injury, just call Gingery. For the Kings, very good news for them is Sabonis and DeRozan are both available for this one. They're not even on the injury report, so we'll expect to see both of them. They were full workouts in practice during the week. Malik Monk still not ready. He'll be out with the ankle. As for the Clippers, no Norman Powell tonight, who's been playing great.
Lights
for the
out.
Clippers. He's been awesome. No PJ Tucker, who's not with the team. And Kawhi Leonard continues to be out for the Clips with that knee. All right, let's break down the Clips. It's going to be the James Harden show tonight. I know there's a lot of opinions. James Harden has moved into the top 20 all-time scoring. He's also now the number 2 leading three-point shooter in NBA history. The numbers are MVP and Hall of Fame caliber. There's no question about that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's more about the style and the aesthetics of it, because James Harden, as much as any other player, takes more criticism about the way he plays the game.
Well, Scott, the numbers are there. Hall of Fame career there. But it's all about, okay, are you going to win a championship?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing that has eluded him. So, seeing that he is the head of the snake, and you've alluded to it, his style of play is terrible. I hate watching James Harden. But as much as I hate watching his game, I have to respect it because he's been so effective with that style.
Yeah, no doubt. And again, the Kings, one thing that's been a little bit of a problem for them of late is defending without fouling. So they're averaging, giving up 25.5 free throw attempts over the last 4 games. This is important tonight because we know James Harden, if anybody's going to draw fouls and get to the line, it's Harden.
He has really perfected that craft, Scott.
Yeah,
that's what I say. You have to respect his game.
You do.
It's ugly, but you have to respect it because he has perfected the art of creating contact, being able to put you in situations to where he's able to get into your body. And once he does that, the referees make the call.
No doubt. In that Clipper win here in Sacramento, first time they met earlier in the year, Harden was 9 of 9 from the line of that 107-98 victory. Harden on the year, he's averaging 20 points, close to 8 rebounds, almost 9 assists. He's also committing 4.5 turnovers, career low shooting of 37% from the field and 32% from 3-point range.
Wow. I mean, he's the end-all be-all to what they have. If you're able to contain him, because Norman Powell killed us.
Yep.
I mean, he really gave us buckets. Yep. If you're able to contain James Harden, which we should, it shouldn't be a situation to where, you're going to let one guy just beat you, especially if he's killing like that. You just got to get the balls out of his hands to make somebody else beat you.
No doubt. And without Norman Powell tonight, that is a huge blow for the Clippers' cause. We've talked so much about the Clippers and just kind of what they're doing. Obviously, they built this team around Kawhi Leonard. If and when he returns.
If and when, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a big question. It's not even about when. It's kind of becoming if.
And, we always talk about game type shape. When he comes, let's just say when. Mm-hmm. When he comes back, what type of game time shape he's going to be in? Because it's going to take him a good 2-3 weeks to get to game time shape. So, if he comes back, let's say after All-Star break and still needs 2 weeks to get into the game time shape, well, your season might already be done if you're not able to win some games.
No question. All right. So they've been doing it with Harden. Obviously, Zubac's in the middle. Gives the Kings some problems because of his height and size. Derek Jones has played well, and he's a good pickup for them. He's a lengthy guy, athletic. Those are the type of guys who give the Kings problems.
Those are the type of guys that give De'Aaron problems because they put him on De'Aaron the last time they was here.
Yeah.
Now, D can score with the best of them, but I tell you what, when he got a long, lengthy guy that can jump out the gym that's guarding him, it makes it just a little bit difficult.
No doubt. And he is one of those guys, that's for sure. Amir Coffey has moved into the starting lineup. He's been playing pretty well. Kevin Porter Jr. off the bench. That was one of those Rockets guys that's now in a Clippers uniform. Mo Bamba as well. It's an interesting lineup for Tyronn Lue, who is considered one of the best coaches in the NBA. He's putting it together, keeping the Clippers competitive. I just don't know, especially if Kawhi doesn't come back at all this season. I don't really see the Clippers being a playoff team.
You don't know how long their run's going to be.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't think they're a championship or bust team, without Kawhi, no doubt. So, but with the insurgence of Van Gundy on the squad, he's helped them out a lot.
He's made them a much better defensive team.
He's helped them out a lot, holding guys accountable. When you have a coach like that comes in that really doesn't have to be scared about ruffling feathers, just telling you the way it is, that helps out a lot.
True. It's also an NBA Cup game tonight for the Kings. Interested to see the floor at the Intuit Dome.
Yes, I like our floor. Our floor looks nice. I'm looking at this.
That's the Pelicans floor.
The Pelicans floor.
Yep.
It's not the worst.
No. A lot of blue and red. It kind of reminds me a little bit. Ours is gray this year. Theirs is blue and red. It's more like our retro court in some respects.
Right, but who was the court that we just seen that was just almost pink? It was like almost a rose pink. Horrible looking court.
Was that Portland? With the roses on it? Yeah. Okay.
Portland's court is horrible.
Yeah.
Milwaukee's court, horrible.
Yeah.
Boston's court, terrible, trash. That green looks horrible. I'm sorry.
Didn't like it. Okay. For the Kings tonight, what do they need to do differently? Obviously, they didn't get the job done against the Clippers last time here.
I think pace is going to be a big thing. Pace is going to be number one. Shooting is always large, but shooting is always 50-50. I think you have more control over how you pace the game than having control over how well you shoot the basketball.
Yeah, no doubt. And obviously with Sabonis and DeRozan back, it's going to make a huge difference for this team. That's the most obvious statement I've made probably all year long.
Scott, I thought last time that we played the Clippers, Sabonis had anything that he wanted. I thought he really played well against Zubac. He was able to score down low. He didn't have any problems. They didn't double team him. He had one-on-ones. So, at the end of the day, let the big fella eat.
Yeah, and he'll be ready to. It's so rare to see Sabonis miss time.
Really, because he has been Iron Man for this team. And, not seeing him out there, I don't think I want to be, try to get comfortable with life without Sabonis on the basketball floor. So let's welcome him back and get him back, and hopefully he's going to be back for a long time.
Yeah, let's hope so. In terms of the matchups tonight, who gets the assignment on Harden?
Who else?
Keegan?
Of course.
Okay.
Keegan Murray don't get a night off. He is the number one guy that's going to guard the best scorer on the other team.
Okay. That makes sense. He probably will. We'll see what happens there. Harden, again, he's getting the job done, but he's the only guy right now, the Clippers, who can really count on for consistent scoring, especially with Powell out.
So you can't. It's imperative. You cannot let James Harden come off and have a Houston Rockets James Harden type night.
No, that's the number one key. Now, why we're not doing the show on remote tonight, from the Intuit Dome, where it's 75 degrees and sunny. I see Gary taking pictures from the beach and the sun, and Drapes is having a great time.
Do we have another game there?
We do. We'll play them once more. We'd have to make it next time.
Going.
Okay. We're getting that done.
Going.
We are going to make that happen.
For sure.
Yeah, we've got to get down there for a game. There is no question about that one. So I got to see this Intuit Dome. Now, I heard they were picking up some water from the wall area. Is that a possibility? I heard Kyle talking about that too. But I want to see this fan wall.
Yes, I do too.
Amongst everything else. I'm
see
really excited to see what that's all about.
And don't they have something like the Ring of Honor also?
They've got every high school jersey in California up there.
I remember we talked about that.
Yeah, it's like, I forget how many high schools there are in California. I want to say it's around 1,500 to 2,000, and they have every single high school jersey, which is absolutely amazing.
That's crazy.
It is absolutely amazing. All right, as we wrap up here, any other final thoughts on tonight with the Kings? They've had 3 days off. They should be rested. They're going into a stretch where they'll be playing 3 and 4 now.
You know what? I hope we get back to playing King-style basketball with Debo out there and Sabonis and, Fox, our big three, and hopefully some of the others will start feeling a little better about their play, and let's get this win tonight.
Let's get the win. And for De'Aaron Fox, does it go without saying he's playing the best basketball of his career right now?
The best. He's balling out.
He is absolutely giving the Kings everything they could ask for and then some. All right. The next game, by the way, March 9th, Kings in the Clips. So we're marking that down. We are going down on March 9th, and we are doing game night from the Intuit Dome.
From the Intuit Dome.
All right, that's going to do it for game night. As always, Henry, great to work with you and have a great call tonight.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate you listening. And of course, stay dry, stay safe all weekend long. We've got you covered. We've got Kings basketball coming up all evening long. You can listen here and stay safe and dry. Kings Live pregame next. Jason will be in with Henry for that. And then, of course, coming up at 7:30, G-Man with the call. He got out and about in L.A. He's ready to give this one his full attention as the Kings and Clippers matchup for the second time this year. Sacramento looking for their first win against L.A. in the Intuit Dome. First time they'll play there in the regular season. Kings Live pregame coming up next. This is Sacktown.